fuck even is this album? I got 4 songs that were singles from this album, and I hated every single one of them. And I was seriously hoping, well, maybe this is just the typical songs and he's holding back the really good ones. These songs are just radio friendly, easy for anyone to really get into because there's nothing overly complex or complicated about it. It's just bland, anyone can really listen to it. And it's just simple and catchy, not any thought has to be put into it. And all these great tracks are going to be hidden in the album. Fucking hell, the tracks we got are probably better than the fucking tracks that are left. Which is unbelievable. Straight to Hell is probably the heaviest track on this friggin' thing. And I don't even think it counts as fucking heavy metal. This thing is fucking rock. All this album is... There's no track which really screams heavy metal to me. The best I get is fucking hard rock, pop rock, which is fucking weird for the bloody Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne doing pop rock. And then, I don't know, melodic rock? Hard rock, melodic rock, pop rock. With elements of rap. What the hell is going on? What is this? This is embarrassing. Now, I'm not going to go track by track in depth because fuck that, I'm not wasting my time with this. And I don't want to listen to this shit. I'm not going to play the music in the background because that would mean I have to download the friggin' thing. And even downloading it for free, therefore stealing from the artist... I don't even think that is even worth it. It's not even worth stealing. Because it is so atrocious. I could steal it for free and then I can just have something. It's not even worth it. It is atrocious, this piece of crap. Ozzy sounds atrocious. The instruments are atrocious. The solos are garbage for what Ozzy is capable of. The song structures and the way they progress is atrocious. The lyrics, for the most part, are atrocious. The special guest, and it's Ozzy Osbourne, does he really need a special guest in order to get him listeners? I don't friggin' think so. And the special guests are friggin' atrocious. Every fucking one of them. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. Maybe the fact that he's 71 and he is actually near brain dead of old age and all the crap that he's put into his body. Maybe he's just completely thick as pig shit. Or he just does not care anymore. Now, 2 professional reviews that I've looked at when the album dropped gave it 4 out of 5 stars and then 5 out of 5 stars by the second reviewer because there was only 2 at the point of looking it up. And both of them were saying that this is some of Ozzy's greatest work in the past years. Are you friggin' kidding me? His best work when the lyrics are atrocious. The solos are atrocious. The riffs in Ozzy Osbourne songs, if you listen to the Essential Ozzy Osbourne collection, every riff from mostly every single friggin' song is absolute classic. Absolute standouts. Will stand the test of fucking time for just how unique and amazing they are. They leap off the friggin' page. They sound so incredible. Breaking all the rules. That heavy fucking guttural bloody beat. It stands out. It's going to stand the test of time, that. Over the Mountain. The riffs. The soaring friggin' vocals. Miracle Man, Crazy Train, Paranoid. You fucking actually are gonna try and tell me this is the best shit that Ozzy has ever friggin' made? Do any of these fucking, just name fucking one bloody riff that'll fucking stand against that, or even comes anywhere friggin' close? It's a fucking landslide away from what Ozzy's capable of. It is absolutely atrocious. These riffs are all friggin' pathetic. And if you even take Ozzy out of this aspect and do this on its own friggin' merits, the riffs are still friggin' bland, even if you do take them away from living up to the legendary riffs that have come previously. These riffs are so bloody bland, bare-bone basic, just there to basically keep the rhythm going. It's not thinking about being something unique and heavy and having this great sense of eeriness about it. There is no thought to it. They are garbage. And then Ozzy's vocals, like, fair enough, he's 71, so I'll give the guy a bloody break for this aspect. But the way that the studio has approached putting his vocals into the album is absolutely garbage. Another thing that these friggin' reviewers are talking crap about by saying that it's the greatest production ever. The thing is, the production has gone too friggin' far. Ozzy sounds better when his voice is raw. Now, I'm more into music of this generation compared to, you know, Metallica 80s, even Maiden type of shit, because the production is quite atrocious compared to what you can get these days. But I will admit, as far as Ozzy Osbourne goes, he is a hell of a lot better when his voice is raw. His voice can soar and it has such power to it and energy. And when he sings, instead of cutting him off to sound that he's not singing in a room, but his voice is just super insanely dry, you're destroying what is great about his voice. It's great when it's not dry and his voice kind of carries in the wind and it just lingers. And there is so much like power behind his voice. Because when he sings, he has this echo and the voice fills the room that he's singing in. And it gives him such great power to the voice. Honestly, the live raw version of Ozzy singing is so much better than just digitally altering it to the point of it's just super incredibly dry. Ozzy's not one of the greatest singers ever, so cutting off all the things that makes him unique and gives him that power and eeriness as well as melody, because when the voice kind of echoes outwards, it fills the soundscape, which gives it that melody to it. If you just cut it up and make it stale and dry, you're taking all this away, and then what you're left with is just a guy that just has a unique voice, but it's pretty crap. You've took the power away, the melody, the soaring nature of his voice, because you constantly cut it down, and you're auto-tuning it, and it's digital, and then it's super dry. It is so dry, his voice. It has to be raw. And then, as I said, the instrumentation is atrocious. Miracle Man is amazing with the riffs, and you get all these lead interludes. The song constantly kind of progresses and evolves into different aspects. And breaking all the rules, that riff is so fucking heavy. For the whatever year that friggin' thing came out, with the production and amps and pickups that they had all the way back then, it is one of the heaviest friggin' riffs you can have these days. It stands the test of time as one of the heaviest fucking brutal riffs ever created. And everything here is just rock. Nothing is that heavy and brutal. There's no soaring melodies anywhere. Everything is just basic power chords. If I take the song like Straight to Friggin' Hell or Under the Graveyard, like the heaviest tracks on this piece of garbage, the closest thing I can get it to is friggin' Alter Bridge. But Alter Bridge in their better days, they're heavier than this. Alter Bridge is heavier than this entire album and has way more intense fucking riffs, heavy riffs, versatility, melody, and just a lot more bloody song progression. Alter Bridge is more metal than Ozzy is these days. And that is friggin' ridiculous and pathetic. He's the Prince of friggin' Darkness, yet the first song, Straight to Hall, he's talking about how he wants to make people go poopsy. Because he will make you defecate. Prince of Darkness, everyone, give him a hand for the genius lyrics of talking about making people go poop. Because that is a badass guy. Like, even when you get a guy in your face who is about 6 foot, 7 foot in your face saying, mate, I'm going to make you shit yourself, it can be intimidating, but even if you step back out of that and look back on it, it is always cringy because it's just absolutely pathetic thing to say, mate, I'm going to make you shit yourself. You really want people to shit themselves? That makes you pleased and happy with yourself? I like it when people go poop, that gets me going. It's a ridiculous comment. Even when it is given intimidation, it's still silly. It's still cringeworthy and stupid. It's a stupid thing to say. So, even with Ozzy just saying, I'll make you defecate, it's so stupid. He's talking about making people poo. What kind of lyrics is that? The lyrics are friggin' atrocious. And the album's called Ordinary Man. Now, what I believe the meaning of calling Ordinary Man is because Ozzy is an ordinary man. A lot of people say he's the Prince of Darkness and he can do all of this, he can never die, he's this immortal being, some retards keep saying. But Ozzy is saying, I am just an ordinary man. He is actually suffering these days. He's had to quit touring a few times these past years. He has been diagnosed with freaking Parkinson's. He cheated on friggin' Sharon and he had to deal with friggin' that, so he's not this bloody god who can shag around with anyone and girls fall at their feet. He had to dump that fucking hairdresser and then actually go and apologise to Shannon on her friggin' TV show. Shows how fucking strong a character he really is. And then Shannon has to do absolutely everything for him because he's just so friggin' pathetic and stale these days and so weak as a human being. So, yeah, the album is basically some of the songs just saying how he's this ordinary guy. And songs like Goodbye, Ordinary Man, and things like this is basically the Goodbye album. So you could argue this is probably Ozzy's last album, and he's saying that he's an ordinary man. He's just like everyone else. He has his weaknesses, and saying goodbye, it's his farewell album. It's just such a shame that the album is atrocious. And then you get the songs like Straight to Hell, where he just basically says he can make people desiccate and all sorts of crap. Eat Me is about guys eating him, because alright, a song about people eating it is so fucking ridiculous. Oh god. And so yeah, the riffs are atrocious. The most heavy song is Straight to Hell, but it's basically just a hard rock friggin' track. And when it comes to these fucking heaviest tracks, when it gets to the verses, the instrumentation is not constantly going with this hardcore chugging sound to it. It's the typical thing that you get in most hard rock bands, where the guitars actually fade out, and then the vocalist will sing along to a drum beat and maybe a little bit of bass, and then the guitar will come in and go dun dun dun, and then it'll stop, and then the singer comes in. It's very bland. It's typical of a bazillion friggin' fucking rock bands. And why this is atrocious for the likes of Ozzy is because the guitarists who have worked with Ozzy and all these insane riffs that these guitarists have made, as well as incredible solos that are seriously going to stand the test of time and will go down in history as the greatest things ever, is because the guitarists who Ozzy has worked for, to name them, there's a few of the greatest. Randy Rhoads, if that guy actually lived, he could have easily have been the greatest guitarist to have ever lived, because the guy was so incredibly talented, and therefore what he gave to Ozzy was unbelievable showmanship from the guitar. He's worked with the likes of Zakk Wylde, again a legend on the guitar. He's worked with Gus G on Scream, which wasn't a great friggin' album, but Gus G is still a pretty epic guitarist in of itself. But as for the solos in this album, it ranges from like decent, mediocre, and then pretty atrocious. The guitarists just kind of seem like the bog standard guys who kind of come out, do a bit of a whittle, don't really last that long. They don't really think things through of let's do this unbelievable fast-paced solo, but there's a lot of different sounds to it to keep it interesting, and then we're going to fade it into melody and just really think about it. They just seem to sit down, just whittle something out, or just randomly put something out, a few seconds, and because they're lazy and don't care, and be friggin' done with it. It's really, really bad. So, riffs are terrible. The friggin' solos are terrible. Ozzy's voice is atrocious because of the way they edit it, and they don't leave it as they do in the old days of Ozzy, where it's raw and actually has that energy and power behind it. as well as grace and melody. The old songs of Ozzy all have this really dark, heavy, eerie sound to them, but Ozzy never forgets about having this sense of melody about them and catchiness. He always incorporates that. So this eerie heaviness always has this real nice, catchy melody to it, and it is so well thought through, but there is nothing like that in this album. All the songs are basic hard rock. Straight to Hell is not heavy in the slightest. The verse is bland and typical of a shit ton of places. The lyrics suck, solo sucks. The next track, All My Life, is like a friggin' melodic track, which gets a little heavier in the chorus, but it's basically just playing power chords just with the gain turned on. Goodbye Again is a friggin' kind of like melodic track. There's not really much to that. Ordinary Man is basically a piano track for Ozzy Osbourne. Now, Ozzy's done melodic tracks before, like Dreamer, where he sings about the devastation we're doing to the planet. It's something quite deep for a guy called the Prince of Darkness, but it still has that real nice beauty sound to it and melody, and it still has that kind of dark eeriness to it. He never sacrifices these things. The Ordinary Man is just piano with friggin' Ozzy, and that's it. And it features Elton John, because when you think Prince of Darkness and heavy metal, the immediate thing is, well, Elton John. Elton John is the definition of friggin' heavy metal. Like, Elton John in the metal community, like, if he was to do work with, friggin' Slipknot or something, like, Corey Taylor has nothing on Elton John, Avenged Sevenfold. Iron Maiden has nothing on Elton John. Elton John has some of the greatest friggin' metal albums out there, like, seriously. It's Elton friggin' John. He's a pop star. Why the hell is he on a heavy metal record? Well, a so friggin' called heavy metal record. This is ridiculous. It's Elton fucking John. And then his other fucking guest, it's Post Malone. It's a rapper. It's fucking Limp Bizkit, for crying out loud. I thought we'd passed the days of Limp Bizkit, Hollywood friggin' Undead and all that crap. Rap should never, ever, fucking ever go into metal. It is atrocious. Rap is garbage, untalented shit that should stay the fuck away from metal, because metal is where talent is. Unfortunately, for the most part, it isn't, but it fucking should be, and that's the way it should be. So, Ozzy with a rapper. Dear Christ. And you can clearly tell, well, that's definitely going to rival the likes of fucking Breaking the Rules and Miracle Man. This rapper's really going to be as heavy and it's going to be as brutal of a song like them sorts of things. It isn't. And then the last track, it's even more rap and Ozzy rapping and it... Christ to hell, it's god-awful. So you've got shit lyrics, shit riffs, shit solos. The special guests are atrocious. Like, if you were to have a special guest, then why not someone like Corey Taylor or Shadow, Sinister frigging Gates? Something big time in the metal community. Bruce Dickinson? I don't know, anything like that. But no, you use pop star and rappers. Well, who the fuck are you? Paramore? Avril Lavigne? Blink-182? Is that the type of shit you're trying to do these days? It's atrocious. One of his songs, when it gets into the chorus, I don't know what the friggin' song is, and I don't want to figure it out, but one of the choruses in one of these songs actually sounds like it could be on a bloody Blink-182 album. It is ridiculous. The lyrics, as I say, suck. It's about people who eat him and making people shit themselves. And then him saying goodbye, but who the fuck cares when it's this atrocious? And then you've got special guests and it's barely heavy. You get like 3 fucking hard rock songs and the rest is melodic rock mixed with pop rock. It's fucking ridiculous. All the songs are not progressive and huge, massive scale, unique shit. Everything is the paint by numbers how to make a song. You have your friggin' intro, a power chord, a verse, a power chord, a chorus, a power chord, the exact same fucking verse, the exact same chorus, maybe do a fucking solo, but really don't think about it because no one really wants, a deep, engaging solo, because that's not what Ozzy is. Randy Rhoads, you know, fuck him, because he's fucking a gobshite, isn't he? Like, his fucking solos, there's really intense, technical fucking crap, really unique, genius fucking solos. Like, what the fuck, Randy Rhoads? You fucking moron. What a retard. Like, who the fuck wants that? Goodness knows. Good God, I'm glad he's dead. Obviously, I'm friggin' joking for the people who actually think I actually thought that. Because some people are actually praising this album, saying it's like Black Sabbath and Ozzy of the old days. Go fuck yourselves. Like, seriously, listen to Breaking the Rules. What fucking riff comes close to anything in here? What type of vocals from the Essential Ozzy album would really fit with the vocals of this? His vocals are not the fucking same. They are worse. The fucking riffs, they are bloody pathetic. They are pathetic riffs. You get all these cool interludes in old Ozzy songs and this showmanship and all these intriguing leads. You don't get anything like this. There's one song that may have it, like, I don't know, in Goodbye or something. There's a bit of this showmanship lead somewhere in the verse section, but it's just bland. There's nothing interesting about it. It's just terrible. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible album, and Ozzy's not been good for years. This has been 10 years since the last album came out, I think. Scream was pretty atrocious because that was basically basic songs again. At least they were kind of heavier. You had Gus G as the guitarist, so the solos were pretty decent, but he still has nothing on Zakk Wylde as well as the legend Randy Rhoads. So it was still a downfall in solo aspects and, genius riffs. And then you would have a heavy song, a melodic song, a heavy song, a melodic song, a heavy song, a melodic song. So it was still very melodic based instead of being this really epic metal album with this eerie tone to it. And Ozzy's vocals were still cut up to be dry and not have this energy about it and this rawness, which is where Ozzy's voice works best. Black Rain was absolute garbage. For nearly the same reason of everything, which is really bland and didn't have any of these amazing riffs and really good vocals that had this energy and power behind it. Nothing. And this album is just so friggin' atrocious and just absolutely so far from what the fuck Ozzy Osbourne is supposed to be, which is 1, metal, 2, unbelievable riffs, 3, epic solos, and some amazingly unique vocals. All of it is friggin' gone. It is hard rock, pop rock, rap, and just plain pop. It is garbage. The vocals are so friggin' crap because it's like that rawness and energy and power of what Ozzy could do in the old days. And some of this could be aged, but a lot of it is also studio meddling with his vocals. The lyrics are frigging atrocious about making people shit themselves, people eating him, because that's something really deep and meaningful and something I can relate to because people eat me a lot. Funny enough, I'm actually dead. Just to go out on the record, I died a few weeks ago from being eaten. So, it's very relatable. The people I'm talking to right now, you probably are all dead because you've been eaten because, relatable. And then some of the idea, like the concept of Ozzy just being an ordinary man and this being his farewell album saying goodbye, that concept is good. It is interesting. I actually do like this concept and idea. It's just the fact that it's bloody garbagely done. It is shocking how it's been accomplished. And then bringing in special guests. It's Ozzy Osbourne. Do you really think Ozzy needs a special guest? So Elton John can come out saying, "Oh, go listen to Ordinary Man. I'm featured on that album of the actual title track, Ordinary Man. Go show support for Ozzy. He really needs it." And Elton John's fans are going to bring in the numbers. Because Ozzy's fans are not really going to care for Elton John. So who the frick is this for? Is this for Elton John to give support to Ozzy? Or is this for Ozzy fans because I don't think any of them are going to give a complete shit for Elton John? Who the fuck is this for? Who are you trying to please here? Who is gonna like this? Elton John fans are not gonna like Ozzy. Ozzy fans are not gonna like Elton John. So, and does Ozzy need Elton John to bring in the numbers? God fucking no. And then post friggin' Malone, Ozzy fans are seriously not gonna like him. Although some are defending him because people want to actually have gay sex with Ozzy because they're that freaky and addicted to him. They'll like anything and kiss his wrinkly bare bottom because, you know, idiots. And it's ridiculous. No one's going to care for Post Malone than people who have brain cells. And then Post Malone rap fans, are they really going to want to listen to Ozzy? Like, yeah, it's a very bland album and it's probably a lot more approachable for these rappers now than Ozzy's previous work because it is borderline walking the pop rock type of shit instead of friggin' metal because there is no metal in this fucking piece of crap. So, the special guests are not going to be good for Ozzy fans or the special guest fans either, so all of that is wasteful. The solos are bare bone bland and nothing, not even a shadow on what Ozzy solos have done. None of these riffs are good. They are all near enough basic power frigging chords. All the songs go the typical songwriting way. None of them do any unique features or unique ideas or take you by any sort of surprise. Most of the album is actually melodic, and then you got piano songs. Ozzy's voice has been ruined by one, old age, and two, the studio fucking with it and taking all that greatness out of it. The lyrics, for the most part, suck. And then for the other parts where he's talking about being an ordinary man, he does seem a little all over the place. And this is the problem with the album. It is a complete mess. It's supposed to be metal, but it friggin' isn't. It's supposed to be heavy in Prince of Darkness, but it isn't. It's supposed to be a great voice, but it isn't. It's supposed to have great riffs and solos, but it doesn't. Elton John is... I don't fucking know what the fucking hell they were doing with Elton John as well as Post Malone, so I can't even fucking tell you what the point of that was. Ugh. This album sucks. If you take all Ozzy's previous work out and just rate it as an album on itself, then yeah, the voice isn't great, but it's still a unique type of voice, so you've got that. All the songs do pretty much have solos that can be pretty decent. They're not the most atrocious solos, it's just for Ozzy type of things, they are atrocious. But again, taking all that out, they are pretty fair. Lyrics, some cringe, some not that bad. You could rate it without comparing it to Ozzy shit like a 4 or a 5. It's just something kind of average. There's nothing special or unique about it to make it stand out against all these other albums that have actually come. Avenged Sevenfold has fucking leagues above this sort of crap, as well as a shit ton of other bands. I'm not going to name every single one, but Avenged Sevenfold definitely a way fucking beyond Ozzy now as the gods of metal. They've definitely took the crown off of Ozzy. And, yeah, but, so, round a 4 or a 5, I'd rate it for that, but compared to Ozzy's previous works, and how this sits in, this is pretty much a 1 out of 10. Because there's no point to listen to this. People saying a lot of these songs are standouts that will stand the test of time along with previous Ozzy songs, fuck no. That is complete shit, and then people need to be fired from their friggin' jobs because they are crap journalists and reviewers or whatever the fuck you want to call them. It's garbage, it really is. The solos are atrocious, riffs atrocious, vocals atrocious, lyrics atrocious. How the song actually flows and progresses is absolutely atrocious. So if you're a real, like, people with brain cells, real Ozzy fans, you're going to find this atrocious. And you will not want to know Ozzy for doing this sort of thing and remember this is his last piece of work. You would like to remember him for these breaking all the rules, Miracle Man, Paranoid, Bark at the Moon, Dreamer, Paranoid, Crazy Train. You're going to want to remember him for being that guy and doing all these amazing solos from the likes of Zakk Wylde, as well as Randy Rhoads. You're not going to want this to be his last piece of work and to be the thing you remember him for. So you're not going to listen to it. It's not listenable. None of these tracks is just like, oh, well, this track is kind of alright. No, there's nothing like that. None of these songs come anywhere close to Ozzy's previous works, so you wouldn't listen to them, which makes the album unlistenable. How the hell can I rate this higher when the album has no merits to go back to it? Or if it was played, you'd be like, nah. If I heard one of these songs playing, I just think of how garbage it is compared to Ozzy's previous works. Therefore, it's not going to be something it's just like, oh, I'm okay with, I can listen to this in the background. No, I'd be pissed off. I'd be disappointed. Because it's just so terrible. And it's just ridiculous that this is, in fact, Ozzy Osbourne. And Ozzy is on this piece of crap. Because Ozzy is known to bring out the best guitarist. Whenever Ozzy looks for a new guitarist, you can usually assure that the guitarist is going to be a friggin' legend. A god on the instrument. And fuck me, this is atrocious. It may as well be fucking Billy Joe Armstrong from fucking Green Day playing this crap. I'm pretty sure he friggin' could. Until it comes to the solos, and he may need a bit more work, but Christ, it wouldn't take him long. So 1 out of 10, it's not listenable. There is nothing to bring you back. No standout track. If I'm to say what tracks it stand out, then it's basically the singles Straight to Hell, Under the Graveyard, because they're the friggin' heaviest, but it's just hard rock. It's not metal, which is what Ozzy is, so it's not even the right friggin' genre, this fucking album. He didn't get the genre right. Like, how the hell can you mess that up? It's atrocious. This album needs to be forgotten. We need to forget it ever existed. It needs to be buried, forgotten. And if this is what Ozzy is, then he needed to bury his career and give up the title of Prince of Darkness. The Prince of Darkness died years ago. That's the way it is. The Prince of Darkness is dead. And he should have died years ago. Because that is when the Prince of Darkness truly did die. It was years ago. All that's left is basically just the husk that's been left over, which is just the man, Ozzy Osbourne, not the legend, which was the Prince of Darkness. I'll see you in the next video, guys.